Hi, I'm Kristen Oaks White. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week. My partner Avery Davidson is with his Ag Leadership class in California for a tour of agriculture areas there. We'll be hearing from him a little later on in the show. From weekend farmers markets to the countless roadside stands, you don't have to look hard to find fresh produce for your dinner table. This week, TWILA's Carl Wiggers takes us to Red River Parish, where one farmer is drawing customers from miles away to his produce market right here on the farm.
Golly, I had no idea.
Jason Anderson has spent his whole life in agriculture. He grew up watching his dad farm and knew that's what he wanted to do. However, he also knew that he would have to find a different way to do it.
We got off in growing vegetables, and that just really took off after, I guess, 18 years of trial and error. It's really paid off.
Anderson gets to see the fruits of his labor every day at his produce stand just a few miles off of Interstate 49 near Coshada.
The produce stand is very diversified in its own. We grow anything from onions to bell peppers to okra to peas. You name it, we have kind of pretty much all your summertime favorite vegetables.
This farm has come a long way from Jason's early days in the business. Nearly 20 years later, Anderson says the reward of seeing his happy customers is worth every challenge he faces.
From having small gardens, you know, from when I was little to growing this on a 50-acre scale, it just really very overwhelming at times, but it's very, very heart-filling, you know, that you can feed your neighbors down the road or whatnot.
Cherry tomatoes?
Those neighbors down the road have become some of his most loyal customers.
We have a lot of repeat customers.
I don't know, everything I buy I love.
This is Joni Thornton.
We came originally for the corn.
Joni is one of those longtime customers, and she drives more than an hour from Toledo Bend each summer for this produce. Today, she and her husband are here for much more than just corn.
And of course, you know, the purple hulls, we've been eating them for years, but we'd never had the lady cream peas before. And of course, this corn that they grow here is just fantastic too. We invite people over to come eat, and they say, man, where'd you get this corn? Oh yeah, it's really good corn, really good.
There's nothing that compares to a fresh vegetable versus a vegetable, say, out of the grocery store or supermarket. We do have people that come weekly, if not bi-weekly, to get their tomatoes or cucumbers for their salads, and we kind of make everybody look forward to the summer with all the vegetables.
Of all the vegetables you can find here, Anderson says it's these tomatoes that customers come back for.
The tomatoes are a big draw out here to the farm. We have a great variety selection of tomatoes, and the taste is just there. And there was a gentleman that came yesterday after he had come last week, and he said, I had to drive all the way back out here just to get these tomatoes. They just taste great.
While things look good this summer for Anderson, he fought the same battles that many farmers along the Red River did over the past year.
Any type of farming, whether it's cattle or row crop or the vegetables, you know, Mother Nature is just going to do what she's going to do.
This year's warm winter has really hurt Anderson's peach crop, but the timely rains and the warm spring have also helped the rest of his crops thrive.
I just went ahead and planted the okra in March, the end of March. I've never done that before. And as warm as it stayed, it took off, came up and just took off growing, and it ain't missed a lick.
Anderson is disappointed that he does not have a peach crop this year, but he did just increase the size of his peach orchard to have great peaches for years to come. His produce stand is open for business from now until early August on Monday through Saturday from 8 to 5. For more information about Anderson's Produce and Plant Farm, head over to our website at twilatv.org. And Kristen, I know you love to grow your own vegetables. I could not help but think about, what if Kristen had this much land to try to grow this much vegetables?
I have to say that I admire him that he can do that much. 50 acres, you said?
50 acres.
That is a lot. I don't even know if you would qualify that as 50 feet that I have.
Well, it's really interesting. One of the things he does is plants, you know, in waves. So he has vegetables coming off, you know, as the season goes, and it's mind-blowing the planning that has to go into that big of a garden.
Oh, I'm sure, because I have just that small space that I have, and start putting stuff here and here, and then I run out of space. And so, yeah, I admire what he does, and I'll have to go pick his brain in the future.
Oh, yeah, he's got plenty of ideas, and I asked him some questions for my own garden that Brittany wants me to try to work on at the house. So.
Oh, good. It was a great story, Carl Wiggers. Well, speaking of delicious produce, for the past 34 years, watermelon farmer T.C. Arthur has picked out only the sweetest melons for his customers in and around Washington Parish. But this year, rain has threatened the viability of this year's crops. TWILA's A.J. Sabine has more.
Over the past 34 years, Washington Parish watermelon grower T.C. Arthur has learned how to get the best pick of his patch.
But see, now this melon not ripe. See, that was still green. This is still green.
Yes, sir.
Now that one's dead, but it'll be ripe in another week.
In his quiet way, Arthur explained how wet weather has threatened his crop this year.
Part of it has been not too good this time on account of the rain and cold weather we had this spring. Watermelons don't like cold, wet weather. We've been lucky to have a fairly decent set on them, and they've gotten real nice. They've been real sweet.
Too much rainfall can jeopardize the sweet reputation earned by watermelons grown around the parish, according to LSU Ag Center agent Henry Harrison.
We had a mild winter, and everybody ended up getting real antsy about planting early. And then we ended up having a couple of cool spells to come along, and then the last cold spell really set them back for transplants. But other than that, they all planted early March, and as a result of it, we're seeing earlier production this year than we've ever seen in Washington Parish.
Growing on approximately 11 acres, Arthur describes how honeybees have become vital to his sweet success.
If we lose the bees, people are not going to have any food to eat. It is a major problem, and they're hard to keep. We've had a lot of people that have lost a lot of them. In fact, there's been this guy that's lost a hive here recently with them. Something to do about so much rain. I don't know what causes it, but I'm not real familiar with that part of the bees. But main thing I want them for is just strictly for pollination.
More than 28 parishes in Louisiana produce watermelons every year. In Washington Parish, I'm A.J. Sabine for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
Washington Parish produces about 1,000 acres of watermelons per year. For more information about Washington Parish or watermelon growers there, log on to our website at twilatv.org. Well, Anderson and Arthur are just two examples of why you should look to see where your produce is grown the next time you're in the grocery store. Chances are it'll either be Florida, Canada, Mexico, or even California. While many people know about the extreme regulations in California, they may not know that it's also an agricultural powerhouse. Right now, a group from Louisiana is on the West Coast to learn about what it takes to get your food to the table, and TWILA's Avery Davidson is with them for the tour. Avery?
Kristen, it is an absolutely beautiful sunny day here in Sacramento, California. I am at the office of the California Farm Bureau, and you know, after talking to some of the folks here, a lot of the issues are very similar to what we face in Louisiana. They're concerned about immigration, they are concerned about water, and they are also concerned about regulation. Obviously, California, their agriculture is quite impressive. The value for the total of the state is $45.5 billion. Now, some of that is from green leafy vegetables. They grow more than 400 different types of agriculture and aquaculture across the state, including, you know, you look over at the beautiful landscaping here in front of the California Farm Bureau building, and that is a lot of what is involved in California agriculture. They actually have a cut flower and ornamental arm of agriculture that's worth as much as the entire state of Louisiana, $11 billion. And Louisiana goes between $11 and $12 billion a year for the total value of agriculture, and that includes everything from sugarcane to forestry to poultry. So it lets you know just about how important California is to the entire country when it comes to agriculture. Now, why am I in California? I'm not on vacation. I am with the LSU Ag Center's Ag Leadership Group. In fact, you look over here, here is the bus that is going to be our home for the next few days. We're going to be touring farms and ranches, and we've already been over to a rice farm. Conaway Ranch is what it's called, and they grow 11,500 acres of rice. They also supplement that with a few other things like tomatoes and other vegetables and green leafies, but their primary crop is rice. They mostly grow long grain and medium grain rice, and they grow a lot of organic rice as well. We're going to be visiting a few other places that I'm going to bring to you next week on the show. So you're not going to want to miss it. You're going to want to hear from some of these future ag leaders as they go on this trip as well. Reporting from California, I'm Avery Davidson. Back to you.
LSU Ag Leadership is a 2-year program open to anyone involved in agriculture. This is the 15th class to go through the program. We'll learn more about what this class has seen on next week's show. Well, the 2017 regular Louisiana legislative session is over, and that special session that Governor John Bel Edwards called is now underway. What we know from the regular session is that Louisiana legislature took steps to ensure your grocery bill will not go up because farmers have to spend more money growing your food. The legislature passed a bill that extended the sales tax exemption on the polypipe tubing used for irrigation. Irrigation equipment was already exempt, but when the legislature created the so-called clean penny tax, polypipe was not exempt. House Bill 629 by Representative Andy Anders fixed that oversight. Louisiana Farm Bureau Assistant to the President Jim Monroe says, overall, agriculture fared well this session.
We were able to maintain our sales tax exemptions on farm inputs, feed, fertilizer, those sorts of things. We were also able to maintain the dairy tax credit, which helps dairy farmers to maintain their businesses through a tax credit provided by the state that offsets the cost of feed. We were also able to really maintain the things that we have been having and to implement some of the new laws. One of those is the Federal Food Modernization Safety Act that really puts the Department of Agriculture in charge of implementing that law here in the state.
Louisiana Farm Bureau Legislative Specialist Joe Mapes is always at the Capitol making sure Louisiana farmers and ranchers are part of the conversation. And here's how he summarized the regular session.
We worked on several pieces of legislation to pass. We updated the laws in regard to the operation of agricultural cooperatives. They've been on the books since 1922 and business has changed, so we wanted to update how we do business. Examples of some cooperatives are Farm Bureau itself, the Young Farmers and Ranchers Committee, the Women's Committee. So we worked on that piece of legislation. It passed successfully.
To keep up with what's going on at the state capitol, sign up for the Louisiana Farm Bureau's Grassroots Government newsletter. You'll find a link to do so on our website at twilatv.org. Well, this week we're wrapping up our series profiling the finalists for the 2017 Louisiana Farm Bureau Young Farmer and Rancher Achievement Award. At its 95th annual convention in New Orleans, the Louisiana Farm Bureau will name its top young farm couple. Our third finalists are Amelia and Russell Kent, representing Tangipahoa Parish. Amelia and Russell manage more than 300 head of commercial cattle in addition to their 1,100-acre hay forage operation. In the last year, the Kents have worked to diversify their operation and expand their growing beef business. In the lush pastures of Kent Farms, these mama cows happily graze where the green grass grows. Russell and Amelia Kent run nearly 400 head of commercial cattle across Tangipahoa and East Feliciana parishes. But the Kents say this herd is only part of their business because good beef starts with good grass.
Without the grass, they don't grow, they're not healthy, they're not marbling, they're not gaining weight. All of everything, our income is off of weight. So we're taking the grass and converting it to meat, which is how we get paid.
We frame our entire crop year around grass. When we live in a setting with an 11.5-month growing season, we care about grass.
With an abundance of high-quality forage and a growing demand for leaner beef, the Kents decided to diversify their operation and cash in on the grass-fed market.
And it's a little bit more time involved in the sense of rather than selling calves at weaning or selling calves at yearling stage, we hang on to them a little while longer. But in terms of the management practices we're utilizing, it's not that much different.
I mean, it's always good to diversify, even if it's a different crop. I mean, most farmers farm beans, corn, wheat, if the price is right, cotton, sugar cane. That's really no different than what we're doing.
In the last year, the Kents have shifted their focus to producing more retail cuts and custom grass-fed beef.
We've pretty much doubled how much we sold from last year to this year. And it's just word of mouth and people trying. We harvested a calf and we could sell it out of our freezer, and we sold essentially samples out of it. And then people coming back saying, hey, we want a whole calf.
While they still sell most of their calves to feedlots out west, Amelia says the grass-fed market opened the gate to direct consumer sales.
I often say, you know, the cow-calf system maybe represents steps A through F of an A through Z cycle. If the customer and the beef on the plate is step Z in that cycle, very rarely do we get that opportunity to follow all the way through. But in this case, we do have that opportunity, and having those conversations are very rewarding.
In the field and in the office, Russell and Amelia have married their strengths to make their operation a success.
She is very good at talking to people. I can produce it, and Amelia's better marketing than I am. I can talk it, but I'm a terrible salesperson.
We rely on each other, we complement each other. I don't think we would be able to have our farm to the extent that it is without the partnership we have.
For this farm couple, the real rewards remain in the relationships with their customers.
We love what we do, but to hear someone take our end product home and thank us profusely, not only in text, but thank you cards for a product that they can have full faith in, it reiterates why we do what we do.
The winner of the 2017 Young Farmer and Rancher Achievement Award will receive a $40,000 credit for the purchase of a new vehicle of their choice. In addition to Russell and Amelia, the other finalists vying for the Wife in Our Achievement Award are Jacob and Carrie Rumbaugh of Caddo Parish and Natasha Stelly of Vermilion Parish. The winner will be announced in New Orleans during the 95th annual meeting of the Louisiana Farm Bureau Federation. Coming up after the break, you saw the Kents and their custom beef business. Want to know where those cows go when they leave the farm? Stay with us to find out.
I now hope they're fighting today.
I hope they are. Put a Dorito on here.
I got a fish! I got a fish!
Find your place in the country and the lender who can get you there. Find Louisiana Land Bank. Financing for country homes, recreational property, farms and ranches, and agribusiness.
Before you sweeten your morning joe, before the icing on the cake, before the sugar hits the shelf, it begins with a family of sugarcane farmers dedicated to growing Louisiana for more than 220 years. The Sugarcane Growers of Louisiana, making life sweeter, naturally.
Sugarcane, sweet sugarcane.
Just before the break, we brought you the profile about the Kent family, and a growing part of their business is custom beef sales, where people get to pick what they want, right down to the cut of meat that they want and the cow that they actually want it from. Well, one Tangipahoa meat market sells their beef and a lot more, the same way they've been doing for more than 50 years.
Contreras Meat Market and Slaughterhouse is an unassuming place right on the side of the road near Kentwood, and whether customers come here by foot,
Contreras Slaughterhouse,
or call or order online, this family business caters to them with hands-on service, as you can see from co-owner Joe Contreras cutting these steaks by hand.
Most people do like thicker steaks these days. Now, of course, your round steaks and such as that, we cut a little thinner, about a ½ inch, you know, like for gravy and stuff. But for the most part, most people like a good thick ribeye or T-bone.
Looking at these cuts, it's hard to disagree, which is why the custom beef cutting Contreras does is so popular. Everything's done by hand, starting with the beef being aged for a week or more, then being brought in to be cut for each customer's specific needs. Even the packaging is done by hand with every customer's name on it. Joe's mom, Ruth, has been here from the very start and still helps out getting beef where it needs to go. Contreras also does a brisk business in smoked sausage, something they've added over the years, and while they've changed with the times, they've kept their roots dear to them. Joe's brother Raymond says a big part of that is the farmers and ranchers who have been bringing the beef here since 1959.
Since then, we've branched out in the retail meat market, and we do a really nice smoked sausage that we're famous for, but the heartbeat of our business has always been our farmers and the people who butcher with us.
For Raymond, it's a philosophy that serves everyone involved.
My dad always told me, you know, the definition of a good deal is it good for everyone involved? Well, if you look at someone like Amelia, she gets a higher dollar for her cow than she would at the sale. The consumer saves a fortune on grass-fed beef going this way, and we get to do the processing. So it's a win-win for all parties involved, and it's just an old-fashioned, beautiful way of doing business.
So how good of a deal is it? Kate here drove all the way from San Antonio to buy from Contreras. It may sound crazy to go all that way just for taste, but she's done the math on the price as well.
I sat there in my hotel room last night and I said, okay, this is insane that I would drive from San Antonio. So really, okay, so this is what I paid for the cow, this is what the processing was going to cost, this is the hotel, the gas, you know, all of that, and it's still less than buying it in the grocery store.
The Contreras are a regular part of the Red Stick Farmers Market, but can deliver all over the state. We'll have more on how to get custom meat from Contreras on our website at twilatv.org if you're hungry. And Kristen, I know I am after going to that store and looking at what they produce. I mean, some of those T-bones were that thick. It was just unbelievable. And the great thing is, you can order on their website, and he said you could do it like at 10 o'clock or even midnight the night before on a Thursday or Saturday, and then they'll bring it to the farmer's market that day. And you can just pick it up from them there.
Darn, I thought you were about to say that they would deliver it to your house like Amazon Prime, and I was going to say, well, I found my new meat market then.
That's the next step. That's the next step.
Wow.
I'm sure, but it's worth it. I mean, it's even worth it to drive out to Kentwood, especially if you have a deep freeze.
Yeah.
You can just stock up like, you know, the old way people used to.
Well, the prices are better at a place like that, and the meat is 10 times better.
I got a filet from them, and it was incredible. Sherry cooked it with a wine reduction sauce. Unbelievable.
Well, I haven't eaten today, so I don't want to even hear about it. Neil Malonzo, great story. Coming up, grab a cold glass of milk because this week's Trending on TWILA is all about dairy. From milk to cheese and, of course, ice cream, we'll tell you all about what people are hungry for online up next.
Landowners are minding the Louisiana forest for our grandchildren. A place for wildlife.
What's trending online? June is Dairy Month, and across social media, people are posting their support of the industry that brings us milk, cheese, and my favorite dessert, ice cream. Case IH posted this article, raise a glass of ice-cold milk to celebrate Dairy Month. Ellen Co tweeted this infographic to show how the dairy industry impacts the economy in a big way. Maryland Farm Bureau debunks a common childhood myth with this tweet. Wait, chocolate milk doesn't come from brown cows? 8% of the public still believes this misconception. Ada Mideast shared this video explaining what it's like for millennial farmers in the dairy business. If you want to watch the entire video, we posted a link on our website at twilatv.org. This week we're kicking off a new campaign on social media, and we need your help. We want you to show us why you're Louisiana Farm Proud. Send us your photos and videos from the farm showing us why you're proud to be involved in Louisiana agriculture. You can share your Farm Proud moments with us on social media with the hashtag LAFarmProud, but make sure your account is not set to private so we can see it. Or you can email them to us at louisianafarmproud@gmail.com. To give you an example, I asked our intern Allie Doise to show us why she's Louisiana Farm Proud, and she responded, I'm Louisiana Farm Proud because I grew up in agriculture. I have seen the sweat, tears, failures, but also the success that comes with the job. In a time where conventional farming is becoming harder and harder to do, I'm proud to be a part of a family that not only believes in all that the future of agriculture can do, but strives to do it. Great job, Allie. Thanks for submitting that for us so we can have an example for what we want to see from everybody out there. Everyone who submits a photo or video will be entered in a chance to win one of the awesome prizes that we're giving away during the 95 45th Annual Louisiana Farm Bureau Convention in New Orleans. You could go home with a new iPad, an Apple Watch, or a GoPro camera. So get to snapping and show us why you're Louisiana farm proud. Now moving on to this week's TWILA Trivia. Last week our question was, what do the 3 white dots on the Domino's pizza logo represent? And the correct answer is A, the first 3 stores. This week's trivia question is, which day of the week generates the most ice cream sales? Is it A, Friday, B, Saturday, or C, Sunday? To enter this week's trending trivia contest, simply log on to your Facebook or Twitter account and post your answer with the hashtag TWILA Trivia, or you can always submit your answer on our website at twilatv.org. Well, that does it for this edition of TWILA. Next week, we'll see what Avery has brought us back from California. He better have brought me back something delicious. And speaking of delicious, we'll have your June edition of Feasting on Agriculture from AJ Sabine next week as well. In the meantime, you can watch all of our stories and check out a few extras. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and check out our stories on Snapchat. For Avery and all of us here at TWILA, thanks for watching. We hope to see you again right here next week.